Mike Krzyzewski, former coach and point guard at West Point, 1966 to 1969. He went on to head coach the team from 1970 to 1980, continued service with the military. Fran, Coach K having a significant impact at West Point.
Well, he really has. Coach talked about the leadership laboratory that West Point is, and I think that's been his greatest strength as a coach. It's not so much beating you with X and O's or a lot of different things, but the way he manages his teams and the way he's led. And I think your guys, your players got a great taste of that today, Coach. You've always talked about selfless service, the leadership laboratory this place is.
Well, you know, I was lucky to go to school here. It's the best leadership school in the world. And then I got a double dose of greatness by playing for one of the greatest coaches of any sport in Bob Knight. And Coach Knight in West Point gave me an amazing foundation. And whenever I can come back, I come back. I come back every year. And for us and for ESPN to put on this for, you know, it's tremendous. This has been a tremendous day for our team because they've been allowed to feel. They feel goodness. They feel service. They feel, you know, something great here, which is the United States Military Academy.
Well, how do you feel about your team right now? Do you think you have a great team?
No, I don't know if we have a great team, but we have a really hard-working team that has to adapt to a lot of things. We had to adapt to some guys withdrawing early, just before we started, to a horrific injury to Paul, who's doing great, and then to Kevin leaving after we had already started practice and had 4 good days in. And so really this group has only practiced about 3 days, and we beat a really good Brazilian team. So we're gonna work hard, and they've worked really hard. And we hope that we don't get any more injuries, and it'll be tough. And to win the World Cup, people don't realize how good these countries are.
Yeah. As you're coaching this team almost on the fly, day to day, have you seen things that you're saying to yourself, these could be our strengths?
Definitely. Well, our guard plays, you know, at the top level. You know, we saw that against Brazil defensively. And
pressure.
Because Hubbarth, you know that is one of the great guards in the world. And our guys really defended him well. And then we were worried about rebounding, and we out-rebounded him by 10. Fareed has given us a big plus. And then we have a player who is going to be, I think, the next great player. He's one of the great players, and that's Anthony Davis. And, you know, he not only played really well that night. When we watch tape after the game, sometimes I've watched tape for 40 years, that things just come out at you. And all of a sudden I'm saying, watch his feet. His feet are always moving defensively. For a big guy's feet, they'll always move. So he made multiple plays. He was all over the court. He's only 21.
Well, Coach, you still have to make some cuts. Right now you're at 16, now to get down to 11. How much should we read into the playing time that happened on Saturday when you didn't have 4 players play?
You know, people read into everything, so that's part of the world we live in. That's why we have shows.
That's why I'm working.
And me too, because if they weren't talking about that, then nobody would be watching. This week is a big week. You know, Brazil was actually, it may have been our toughest game until the medal round, because they're going to be in contention. So we have to approach that game in a 2-day period like it's a game. You're not going to play, first of all, you never play 16 guys in a game.
Right.
So we have to take a look at certain things, and in these next 2 games we'll look at more, and then hopefully we'll be down before we go to Gran Canaria to about 12.
What's your biggest question mark right now on this team?
Well, no, our biggest is how close we can become, how much we can feel one another. That's where the other countries have a advantage. They've been together years. We've been together days. And but that's why a day like today, if we can get the camaraderie in that, they're unselfish. These guys will do anything to help. There's no bad attitudes. They want to be here.
Exciting day for us.
You know, it's an honor to coach them, really.
As we're watching this with Lieutenant General Cassidy, I want to ask you this. I want to circle back to your days here. You once told me that you didn't want to come here.
Right.
And just tell Cassidy and our audience that story about being recruited by Coach Knight.
Well, I was telling Kyle Korver I was probably going to go to Creighton and play at Creighton. And Coach Knight came in, and actually Tate's Locke was the head coach, and then Coach Knight was going to become the head coach. And I was scared. I'd never thought of being in the military. I wanted to dribble behind my back and shoot buckets. And my mom and dad, my mom never went to high school, and my dad went to 2 years, said, "You're going." And after about 2 weeks, I trusted them, and I said, "Okay, you know better than me," and they did. And then once you were here, you know, all these kids that sometimes think of quitting, but West Point, you know, I always say, teaches you that failure is not a destination. You don't quit, and you don't end up on a failure, and then you work as a team. And I've been, that one decision set up my life, and that's why I love coming back here and talking to kids about it.
Otherwise, you could be selling insurance in Omaha.
Which, hey, for all the insurance
Yes,
people in
exactly.
Omaha,
Offending maybe
you
some of our viewers.
You write him.
I didn't say you weren't making money.
I think selling insurance in Omaha would be all right. I just think what I'm doing is more what I like to do.
Okay, apologies to our insurancemen in Omaha. On the court right now, Team USA is playing a game of knockout with the Army players. And just why was it important for you to have the players interact with the cadets?
Well, you know, I'm amazed at how well they are interacting. You know, like, I had a practice plan for today, and whenever I'm coaching the U.S. team, I have a practice plan and other plans. And you make a read, and it was emotional for us today, you know, all the things. Our guys it wasn't a day to go attack one another.
Right.
So I told them beforehand, I said, look, I'd like to do a few things. You guys be yourselves, soak it in. And that's all them doing it. I love that. I love the fact that they're goofing around. I love where Kelsey Minato beat Steph in a 3-point, and that's good. And this is, you know, everyone says that the cadets will never forget this experience. They should realize that we will never forget this experience. This has been a great, great thing for our basketball team.
What's this experience, the last 8 years now, meant to you, being part of the USA basketball?
Yeah, Fran, it's I don't know if I'd still be coaching. Like, you know, first of all, you learn so much. What an honor it is to represent the United States. But it keeps you young. And learning from these players and staff, like for Jim and I, you know, we've been very close friends. Some people, even though Syracuse and Duke, we're like brothers. Then you had Thibodeau and Williams. Those guys are great. And you learn new terminology, a different way of expressing. Well, you've watched some of our practices on defense with Tibbs. He not only coaches a play, he coaches every sequence of the play. But the terminology and how you teach, that's exciting. You keep learning.
We knew it wasn't Tibbs that kind of gave you guys a day off a little bit from practice.
Quite frankly, we got on the bus. We stopped at the chapel. We're getting on, coming here. And he said, "Be careful. Be careful today."
Thanks so much, Coach, and good luck in Spain.